Hello and welcome to How to Play Casino, presented by GatherTogetherGames.com. This video will cover how to play the card game Casino. The video will start with the general concepts and gameplay, and then get into more of the details for the game. Casino can be played with 2 to 4 players. Casino is played with a standard 52 card deck. 2 cards are dealt to the opponent, then 2 cards are dealt face up into the middle, then 2 cards are dealt to the dealer. This process is repeated once. The object of the game is to score points by winning specific cards and by winning the most cards. 3 points are awarded for winning the most cards, 1 point for winning the most spade-suited cards, 2 points for the 10 of diamonds, also known as the big casino, 1 point for the 2 of spades, also known as the little casino, and 1 point is awarded for each ace. Going back to the hand that was dealt earlier, I have flipped up each player's cards for you to see. In an actual game, you will keep your cards hidden from the other player. During gameplay, the players will try to take in as many cards as they can in order to win as many points as they can. Cards can be taken in by pairing a card from your hand to a card that is in the middle. Multiple cards from the middle can be added together and taken in by a card that equals their total value. If a player is unable to take in a card, he will have to trail a card, which means placing a card from his hand into the middle. There are 2 combinations that can be created during gameplay: a build combination and a call combination. A build combination is created when a card from a player's hand is combined with a card in the middle. This can only be done if the combined total equals the value of a card in that player's hand. Player 1 can combine the 2 from his hand and the 6 in the middle to build an 8 because player 1 has an 8 still in his hand. Upon making this move, player 1 would announce building 8 to let player 2 know that the 2 and 6 are combined now and cannot be separated. On player 1's next turn, he can take in the built 8. When a build combination is made, the opponent can take it in if he has a card that equals the amount. Player 2 has a 7 that can take in the 7 built by player 1. When a combination is built, players can continue to build up the combination. Player 1 builds a 7 that he can take in with the 7 in his hand. Player 2 adds a 2 on the build and makes it a 9 that he can take in with the 9 in his hand. Player 1 adds an ace worth 1 to make the build a 10. On player 1's next turn, he takes in the built 10. The other combination type is a call combination. A call combination is combining cards with an equal value. This can only be done if a player has a card of equal value still in his hand. Player 1 adds an 8 from his hand to the 8 in the middle and announces calling 8. On player 1's next turn, he can take in the 8s with the 8 from his hand. Multiple cards from the middle can be used to create a call combination. Player 2 is able to play his 5 onto the 2 and place the combined 7 on top of the 7 in the middle to call 7. This is allowed because player 2 has a 7 to take in the called combination. Going back to the example hand, when player 1 builds an 8, player 2 trails a queen, then player 1 takes in his built 8. Player 2 then has to trail his 6, followed by player 1 trailing his 10. Once each player has played his 4 cards, the dealer will deal out another 4 cards to each player, 2 cards at a time. Player 2 starts by building an 8 with his 2 and the 6 in the middle. Player 1 adds an ace to the built 8 to make it a 9. Player 2 takes the built 9 combination. Player 1 creates a call combination by playing his 10 onto the 10 in the middle. Player 2 takes in the queen. Player 1 takes in his 10 combination. Player 2 trails his 8 and player 1 trails his 9. Another 4 cards are dealt to each player, 2 cards at a time. Players continue to take turns playing until all cards have been dealt out. Skipping ahead to the end of a round, player 2 takes in an ace and player 1 trails his last ace. The player that took in cards last get any remaining cards in the middle when the round is over. Players will count their cards at the end to see who has more cards and who has more spades. Players will also see who won the big and little casinos and the aces. Player 1 gets 3 points for most cards, 1 point for most spades, 2 points for the big casino, and 1 point for the little casino for a total of 7 points in round 1. Player 2 got all the aces at 1 point each for a total of 4 points. The game is played to 21. Round 2 is shuffled and dealt by player 2. The kings, queens, and jacks cannot be part of a combination. They can only be paired and taken in. Only one card is played from a player's hand during a turn. A player can only create a combination if he holds a card in his hand with the same value as the combination being created. A call combination remains at the initial value and cannot be raised by any player. A player that created a combination cannot trail a card on his next turn if the combination created has not been changed. That wraps up how to play casino. As with most games, you will get better with practice. So don't be discouraged if it takes you a few games to catch on. Thanks for watching.